I really enjoyed the first module. I think it was the one Alejandro gave us, and he I I was born in the United States. My parents are from Mexico, so I mean, I just grew up going to church. I mean, Spanish mass was already there. Um, I did hear a few things like from my parents and stuff about um, some parishes not wanting a Spanish mass, but I never really paid attention to it. Not until now. You know, when I took the module, like I learned so many things about the struggle, and it's made me appreciate so much more. You know, because I mean, for me, it was easy. I came to mass and it was there. My Spanish mass was there. Even though English is my first language, I enjoy going to mass in Spanish. My husband is his primary language is Spanish. So I mean, we go to Spanish mass, but I just never understood the struggle for the Spanish mass to get there, you know. And when I heard the story of the parish I'm in right now, of people having to knock on doors to get signatures to present it to the bishop, so that it could even be put on the table. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, people really struggled. People really, you know, broke a sweat having to do this, and I'm coming in and it's laid out for me already. So I just learned, you know, through that module specifically how to appreciate what we have in place right now. You know, I've enjoyed all the modules. You know, they've opened my eyes. I love how they're going like it's like a specific order, you know, step by step. And in each one, you're like, man, I thought I knew this already, but I didn't, you know. There's so much more, you know, and it's going in depth, you know, to the stuff that's covered up. But you should say, you know, you learn about things just um on the outside, but this program is taking you really deep, you know, and it's making you appreciate, you know, everything that we have, everything in the parish, and it's just making me want to learn more, to work more in my parish.
If someone has a particular question, Anna, thank you for sharing of that first module. I think we specifically, strategically had Alejandro with his vast knowledge of Hispanic ministry in the U.S. kind of like kick off that. But if there's something else that struck you in the program or how you perceive, the ins and outs, or if there's someone in the committee that would like to ask a specific question, this might be the time. And by the way, I'm also checking the chat. I didn't pay attention to that, so I apologize. So I'll get to that in a minute.
Can I say something else? On the class that we had with Oscar in person a few weeks ago, it was on leaders in the pastoral setting. Um, that helped me as well because I'm part of the Hispanic ministry, and this helps me bring to the table the way that meetings should be held, you know, because not every parish follows a guideline, you know. A lot of the Hispanic culture is very different as far as meetings, you know, and I think that if we start learning how to have a meeting with an agenda, a meeting with a purpose, like we can get so much more done, you know, and in a short time. And it's helped me, that helped me a lot, you know, to bring ideas to the table as far as, you know, how the meeting should be held, how the finances should be for the Hispanic ministry, you know, different ideas I could bring to help them help us.
Anna, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I echo what JT and a few others seem to be saying in their nods of this just being really inspiring and awesome. I'm wondering if you could speak to, so you mentioned meetings, but I would love to hear a little bit more, maybe like one example of something that you've implemented or you hope to implement. Could be anything small or big, but something that you've learned from one of the classes that you were like, oh, this could really benefit my parish. It'd be really great to hear an example of that.
Well, as far as I'm sorry, my granddaughter's here. um, as far as the implementation, I work with right now. I'm working with a group of that work with marriages or couples wanting to get married. We have meetings once a month where a topic is given a different reflection is given, and in order to we prepare for those meetings. But I when I formed part of that group, the meetings were held very casual. You know, you go and there's no agenda made. People have different ideas, and then at the end, it was like, hurry, hurry, hurry. We need to get out by a certain time so that we can, um, you know, because we book a 9 o'clock. But then it's like 8:30, and we're still hurrying up to see what we're going to do for that meeting. And I took part of like what Oscar and Alejandro shared with us in their modules, and I took it to them and showed them how we learned, how a meeting should be held. You have an agenda, you have your, like Oscar presented right now, everyone gets a copy. The points that we need to cover, and then at the end, open up if there's any new business or anything, so that the meeting doesn't have to be 3 hours 4 hours long, and we can get everything done, without wasting time. you know I think that's part of the Hispanic culture, sadly. You go to a meeting and you want to have coffee first, or you want to talk and catch up, and I think that could be left till the end, when the meeting is over, if anyone wants to catch up. But we have to learn how to separate, in a way, like business, personal, and just get to what we need to get to so that things could get done. And a lot of the information that I've received in these classes have helped me bring that information to the table.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Anna, this is Adam. I get to work with Oscar here at Marion. And actually, I think I met you at the first session, so it's good to see your face again. And I was just curious how, when you all are going back to your parishes and your communities, um, I guess how you feel like people are responding when they hear you're participating in this program. Uh, yeah,
Sorry. Yeah. Well, we every time we have a meeting for the Hispanic ministry, um, up until we had a pastor change, so we're gonna have one at the end of this month. But the meetings that we've had prior to this month, the priest will always ask us, give us an update, and everyone is always so eager to share. What's going on in the class, what have we learned, what we're doing, especially about like the 5-week communities that we were doing. They like to hear the update, and a lot of the people give their feedback as well, and they just say how important the classes are. They enjoy hearing our updates, what we're learning and everything, and they just hope that the program can continue.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, feel free to stay with us, Anna, or if you need to uh, continue serving your granddaughter, by all means. But again, I hope that in the future we continue inviting, if not her, some of the other students. just invited Anna because she's amazing, and every time that I have a question, she responds in less than a 2 second, and she's always on top of things. So, at some point, I said, Anna, you should work for Renovacion, because she keeps me on top of things, by the 3,000 messages that she sends. Ask her you have not sent that. Ask her you have not done that. So I really appreciate
That's awesome.
your collaboration, Anna. You're amazing.
Thank you all so much for having this program, and thank you for having me today. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
So I will share the link because I'm not sure if everyone actually heard the sound of the video. I've had, morning prayer here with Marian, and I share a couple of things in the past, and there was nobody said anything. There was no audio. So I'll share the link of that so you can enjoy that. I'll set the prayer as well and the recording, which it was late, but I'll share the recording if anyone's interested. And maybe I'll type some notes with some of the highlights of this meeting. So if we can continue with the agenda, if there's something else that you want to share, I would like to get to the Festival Mariano. Adam and I have had meaningful conversations about, what I mean. There was a proposal, and definitely we want to be faithful, but we're discovering that Renovacion has changed so much, and so we want to be faithful to the structure, but at the same time faithful to the inspirations of the Holy Spirit as we continue engaging with these communities, because they are the ones that are feeding me into what if we try this, what if we done that. And so at this point, the Festival Mariano is a 1 day. So I'll send a calendar invite, hoping that you can join us for July 14th, 15th here at Marian University. I'm sorry, July 14th will be Friday only for the students, and Festival Mariano is just on a Saturday. And I hope that you guys can be available for that. And within the email, I sent a proposal. I'm just gonna try to pull it off. Here it is. Okay. So if you remember, Festival Mariano, it's actually a module for the students. So that means that they need to complete a 12-hour session. So they're invited to come on Friday. That's not the actual date, that's the 14th. And we're hoping that they can engage from 5 to 8. The instructor for that is Dr. Naomi de Anda. She's a professor, a good buddy, friend of Adam.
It's amazing.
And she has the topic that is very passionate, Mary as a disciple, a missionary disciple. So that will be on Friday. But again, we're more interested in what's going to happen on Saturday. It is more than a module. This is the opportunity where we invite everyone from these 3 parish communities. People that participated in the 5 weeks, people that will participate in the retreats, or those who have not been engaged at all. We do have a limit. At this point, we have set 70. But again, this could change if we brainstorm here and we contemplate other possibilities. So in my mind, I have 3 main topics, and this is where we would like to engage in discernment. Number 1, can we have it in English and Spanish, side by side? Can we have breakout sessions instead of just 2 or 3 main presentations? And what would that look like? And the third and most intriguing question is, can we make it actually open to the public? So again, with that in mind, this is the proposal. So I'm just going to walk you through, again, this is just a template and a proposal that Adam and I worked. But the 3 questions that I posed is kind of like the backbone of what is most intriguing for me. What can we do with that? So if there's any other question or comment, I would like just to read what you see on the screen.
Sorry, Oscar, just to clarify, the Spanish English side by side and open to the public, would that be for Friday or just Saturday?
Just Saturday. Friday's only for the students with
Great.
Naomi.
Thanks for clarifying.
Thank you. So we're thinking, especially for those who are traveling, that 8:30 could be the arrival time. At this point, every parish community, it's around an hour and a half. Maybe St. Paul Valparaiso is a 2 hour and 15 minutes. Um, so taking that into consideration, we would like to start at 9:30 with morning prayer, some type of bilingual worship, something simple, liturgical that is bilingual. We will have obviously the welcoming, and we thought of a nice way of presenting is through a video, short 2 to 3 minute video that we can put together of every parish community and the official welcomings, and have the keynote at 10 a.m. And so this will be the first time that we encounter a monolingual event. If we decide to have two, or if we decide to have one with headsets, or if we just have one, I would like to hear your thoughts and comments, especially those of you who are very accustomed to have bilingual events.
You mentioned headsets. I think that if time is, like if you're pressed for time, I think headsets might work best because they consolidate or are able to, like, you can say the same things at the same time for those who might need in English or in Spanish. But if time isn't an issue, I think it would be cool to have both languages, because I think something that is good to hear is the way that English and Spanish live, both like the languages, but also the cultures live within the parishes. And in the parish, like hearing people speak in English and hearing people speak in Spanish, like that's a part of the lived reality. And so to have that represented would be really cool. At the same time, also a logistical kind of like hurdle to try and figure out the best way to do that. So I think the first question would be like time. If there's time for it, then it might be helpful to do both. And if there isn't time for it, I think the headsets are I don't think there's anything wrong with headsets.
So just another clarifying question. The only keynote that we have um, secured is Dr. Naomi, and she can do either one, English and Spanish. So that will be another element that she could present in English and then later in Spanish. I just had Dr. Max Johnson as a suggestion, but we have not made official contact with him. So I'm just going to take him out. But again, that's another possibility that if we want to switch and have the same speaker give the same presentation, it was just a matter of adjusting the whole schedule to see what people do. Maybe the breakout session could be an option.
Oscar, I might be off base here, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Some of the decisions about language could be related to whether or not it's open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those two decisions they could be interrelated. So I'm just thinking out loud, but putting that out there.
Thank you, Ken, and especially that you are our biggest connection with the Archdiocese. How would you hear this invitation to make it an open event, if I could ask?
Yeah, and I am big, by the way, so thanks for pointing that out. But I was thinking it might be a good way for more people to know and hear and learn about the goodness of this effort. I guess that was my first thought. If it was open to the public, I think that it could generate some interest in possible related future activities. That's just my main thought.
Thank you. Well, if we follow up, the proposal suggests that we have breakout sessions. And again, we like to think big here in Marion, and we put up 10 different sessions, maybe the majority in Spanish, knowing that the majority of people will come from the Hispanic community from these three parishes. And we thought of the possibility of having keynote, then breakout sessions, and maybe swap, keynote in English, and then the people will join the breakout sessions. So the morning, if we want to divide the day in two, the morning will be more for the keynote and the breakout sessions, hoping that lunch will be at 12:30. So I'm going to continue with that, knowing that there are some suggestions here about how we can engage in the keynote and breakout sessions, because the proposal is that the rest of the afternoon is less of a conference, that it's more relational. And that will be lunch. Hopefully we can have some Latino food and live music. Adam and I are preparing a song, with our mariachi suits. So be ready for that, you might be surprised. Then we thought of having something related to Marian, and what about a Marian procession with the representation of Marian advocations from Latin America, that we could have a little bit of, who they are and what's the main feast day, and maybe a banner or so. And we thought also of presenting Immaculate Conception narration history of Marian University. At the end of the day, we're a Marian University, and our patroness is the Immaculate Conception. Then after that, we thought of, okay, this is time to hear from the program itself. The students will be presenting the missionary commitment, whatever they have. Hopefully by then it will be polished and finalized, but this will be just an opportunity for them to say, this is what we want to do, and just have a wonderful moment at the end with a prayer, a blessing, maybe a worship, big picture, So hopefully we could be done by 3:30 for Latino time.
Oscar, does the breakout sessions in English, the three will be some of the same as the Spanish that you have there?
So that's a good question, Eva. We're not sure. These are just numbers. I mean, it could be just 3 sessions, and we can find a space to put people in there. To me, I'm just echoing what Krista said. There's something about culture that to me is meaningful rather than just focusing on English and Spanish. And so it could be 1 in English, it could be 7 in English, in Spanish. It's just a number at this point, but it doesn't have to. I mean, we can come up with all kinds of topics, and this could be, again, another opportunity for us to engage. I'm thinking like Kurt, your area of Catholic education, can we explore the possibility of having 1, 2, or 3 sessions that has to do with Catholic education in Indiana or in the Archdiocese? Again, these are just possible ideas of how we can brainstorm and be more receptive of the reality of our neighborhood. Sorry, Ev, I don't know if that answers your question, but go ahead, Ken.
No, I was just going to ask if the fact that some people are coming from the central time zone, if that has any impact on the agenda. It doesn't seem to, because it seems reasonable, but
Yeah, I thought about that, Ken, because my trips to Valparaiso again have been just a little bit more than 2 hours. And they are going to get up probably at 4:35 because they are going to lose an hour. So if they leave at 7, they're going to get here at 10. So that's something that I can make a note and just run it by the pastor and the leadership team from Valparaiso, and just be sensitive to that, because if we could just move it at least half an hour to an hour, I don't think it will affect the rest of the day.
I have another question. If the event doesn't get to be open to the public, what is the possibility that those interested can access the presentations on live or have them recorded?
Another interesting point, I don't think Adam and I talked about recording, but that is an option. I don't think we will have a problem with that. Yes, I like that.
Oscar, I know you said that the breakout sessions, like topics are to be determined, but do you have any like hopes or some beginnings of ideas of what you might want some of those breakout sessions to look like?
So I've been taking notes on some of the things that I've heard during the modules. Uh, for example, so the answer is no, but I just want to elaborate a little bit more. I've been hearing kind of like the pain points on some of the modules. Just to give you an example, lay ecclesial movements continues to be a topic within the Hispanic community, especially in the relationship on authority, relationship with the bishop. And so, that could be an excellent topic where we can expand, beyond what happens on the parishes. And this could be like a safe space for people to engage in a topic like that. Um, as Anna mentioned, I just gave like an hour presentation on pastoral planning and handling a budget, and it was just like an eye opener for all of them. They were just like in shock. And so maybe expanding in some of those things that we cover that unfortunately we're not able to engage as much as we like in class. So I can provide a list based on what I've seen, but I will invite you that if you have uh, some on your end that we can maybe come up with final list.
Awesome, thank you. I also recognize this is like a year away, so obviously the topics won't be finalized, but
I feel behind already, Krista.
Yeah, I say it is a year away, but I think the Oscar's comment rings true to me. One, because my hope is that some of the speakers are actually from our existing Marian community. I think that would include this Renovacion board, um, because we want to show, I mean, Marian, we try so hard to be of service to the actual church, not to be removed. And I think there's a lot of talented professors. JT is on the call, Kurt, obviously, who the wider community doesn't know JT's brilliance in scripture. So, maybe he gives a presentation and it opens up something new there, but also the year advance, because if we want to bring in some outside people for these, you know, really talented people, their schedules book up uh, this far in advance. So it's not crazy to be talking about it. And I put this in the chat, but I thought your comment question, Ava, was a really good one. So thanks for that earlier.
The other thing that I thought about when we talk about the idea of whether it's open to the public or not is maybe we even think about, is it maybe part of the day? Maybe is the afternoon open to the public if we can't make the whole thing? So maybe the Marian procession, and maybe there's some sessions that are open to everybody. Maybe the morning is still reserved more for the students. If we can't, if we have some speakers that we can't make available to everybody, that type of thing. That might be something to think about too. Is maybe there's a public afternoons part of it. That's kind of more of it. It's kind of a celebration, but also some learning and some well.
Thank you, Kurt. I like the idea of Adam, maybe having everyone on the board presenting. When I think of you, I, yeah, you guys have a name and a reputation. And so Juan Carlos is not here. Dora is not here. Vanessa is not here. She was at MDI 2 years ago. So maybe this could be also an opportunity to engage. Obviously, Adam has been a keynote. I took notes of what I've heard, but again, if you feel strong later, that you get this aha moment, send me a text or a message. For us, we want to make sure that we are honoring the proposal. But again, we as good Franciscans, we're thinking beyond, what is written, and just be faithful to the inspirations of the Holy Spirit, and see if this year, this first Festival Mariano, could serve the wider community. And if not, we're willing just to accommodate the best we can, and maybe think of the future with more tools and more insights. So again, this is just an invitation for you to continue brainstorming, and maybe for our next meeting, we'll have a more structured, finalized proposal. Is there any other comment on this Festival Mariano?
I just have a question, if it's okay, Oscar. It's just, were there any within the group here, were there any suggested topics as well? And then Oscar could take those and sit with them and think about them, but for those breakout sessions in particular.
I messaged Oscar a couple of moments ago, but I was thinking of his opening prayer and something, given that it's a Marian festival, that could be cool, like women in the church, mujeres en la iglesia, something of the sort. And obviously that's like a super broad topic, but given the syllabi that they've received of the classes that they've taken, that could kind of be used to pinpoint what is talked about in the context of women in the church.
Wow, I just thought of a presenter for that. Her name is Krista. Wow.
I'm pretty sure I would be free that day too, so I don't plan my calendar that far in advance.
Thank you, Krista.
I've got a ton of ideas, but I also I too would be curious to hear more about like what some of your ideas of general topics are, just based on your experience so far. But I mean, practical tips for strengthening faith in the home, using sacramental preparation to help evangelize parents as well as kids. Anything on some basic principles of organizational health, some of the stuff that Patrick Lencioni does, can help people understand the way team and group dynamics work sometimes. He of course has a book called How to Avoid Death by Meeting. So maybe diving a little bit deeper into what's helpful for meetings and what isn't helpful for meetings. So again, I have a ton of ideas, but I don't want to presume that any of them would be useful or helpful. But I can email you some of those and some more suggestions. And honestly, it would be up to you to decide if they would be helpful at all, because I'm not really sure what would be most helpful.
Thank you, Ken. Looking forward to that list. Welcome, Deacon.
Thank you, Oscar. I was in team several times until Adam told me about the trick, so apologize for that.
Thank you. Yeah, JT Road, if you saw it, curious about the gender breakdown for these cohorts, mostly women. Yeah, that's an excellent question that we'll see, because when I think of people traveling, um, again, I would have to involve the whole leadership team, the pastors, the parish staff, just to see if they're going to be, maybe a bus, um, some type of organization within the parish, or Marian helping the parish. Uh, yeah, that's an excellent question. Transportation to see how many people in the breakout of the gender.
Yeah. Oscar, I apologize in advance if you already touched base on this or discussed this, but I was checking the agenda, and this is this the agenda for, I'm sorry, this is the content for the Festival Mariano that you were mentioning there? And just to calibrate myself, so in that way I don't ask no smart questions, but what is the tie or the alignment between this Festival Mariano and the board or the program that you are running? Or is just an activity as part of it, or really something that will be helped to increase the number of participants? What is the alignment there?
Thank you, Juan Carlos. So it is considered a module, so that means that is required for the students. So Festival Mariano in itself is just one day on Saturday open for the parishes, but it also has Friday evening in order to complete the 12 hours of the module. And so the part of the discussion right now is can we open it up for the broader community? Because initially within the proposal it says students, then parishioners of these communities. And so now we're contemplating the possibility of opening it to the general public. And obviously that brings another set of questions. One of them is, can we do English and Spanish, and can we do breakouts? And what would be some of those ideas?
Yeah, and I think that we already have a festival, Mariano, or it's called A Day with Mary, I believe. Is that so? Is that a separate? I mean, of course, if we open this for everybody, that will be a separate event, or something that we need to think about to avoid confusion with.
That will be a question for Ken.
Ken, right? Ken is the
Ken,
one who organized this.
I was part of that committee with Ken, and I'm assuming that we're no longer doing it as an archdiocese. Ken, is that correct?
Yeah, we've kind of let that. We've kind of taken our foot off the gas for a while, at least, having that annual morning with Mary. So that won't be an interference at all.
Got it. Thank you. Because I think that calibrate also then, right, the answer to see we open that. I think that was a good attendance for those days with Mary. So this is a Festival Mariano that can be open for the everybody. I think that will be great. And we have a wonderful lessons learned from those events that we can apply to this too.
I think you might be speaking of your home parish,
Oh,
because that was the only in numbers. I think all the mornings with Mary were successful, but in numbers you took it out the park, with 1,000 people probably. But the rest were really small, Juan Carlos. We had somewhere between 30 to 50 people, Ken. Is that?
I see. Okay. Well, let me stop talking for 5 minutes. I promise you. So I
No,
allow you to
that's good,
move
because
on.
at the end of the day, we want to consider of all the possibilities of what a broader event would look like. But yes, we learn a lot. Can testify to that. Well, if there are no more insights or questions, again, I will welcome any list of ideas. We already talked about possible breakouts and even people that can facilitate those. Um, in my recollections, Adam and I were really going back and forth about this keynote. Can we invite another person, or should we stay with Naomi, that is a Latino woman that has been an author and a wonderful presenter? And so she really embeds the representation of the present and Latino, the present and the future of Latino in the US. And so can we ask her, to try to do English and Spanish for the keynote, or again, can we invite somebody else and just have the breakout sessions in two languages? All right. Awesome. So I'll stop sharing. Make sure that I stay. Yeah, Eva testifies that Naomi is a good presenter,
Mhm.
and we'll definitely have a breakout session on Women in the Church by Krista Chinchilla. All right. The only thing that I had on the agenda is just any other opportunities for collaboration. I have in my notes that Marian University is working really hard to make sure that all the advisory boards somehow have the same structure, and they want to get to know, who participates on these boards. So you'll get a couple of invitations from Marian University to make sure you feel the love and then you feel part of it. And we just want to thank you for being here and just representing Marian, you know, to the world, literally. Um, Adam and I might send a gift on your way, again, also as an appreciation. So if you're not able to be present for some of these events, I think there are 3 or 4 dates, if I remember correctly, Adam. One is Family Day. The other one is just a get together coffee. There is also the gala that is happening in October, where we're going to highlight the Latino initiative. So that might be a good way for you and your better half to come downtown Indianapolis and enjoy a wonderful time with Marion.
Right. And I was actually about to message you about that, Oscar, is that the gala for Marian University, it's our number one advancement celebration annually. But you, as supportive members of this Board of Visitors, will be receiving a complimentary ticket to that event. And so it'll be coming not directly from Oscar or myself, but from the engagement office on campus. And so we're not in control of it. We're told it should be coming sometime soon, but be looking for an email from an office other than Oscar, but with a Marion address. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who's coming for the show, but the gala is pretty awesome. So, and again, there might be another 2 or 3 events that I'll send your way for your consideration.
This is what I was thinking. You can send us the calendar just to start. And thank you so much, Adam, also for that gesture.
Oscar, I just wanted to mention super quickly, if you're not aware of it already, we've got a guy named Dr. Marlon De La Torre coming down on Monday from the Archdiocese of Detroit to give a talk in Spanish on encountering God in the Eucharist. So it's at Holy Spirit on the east side, but it's open to the public. So if you want, I can email a flyer to you, Oscar, and if you think it would be good to distribute to this group, I will leave that up to you. But it's a neat opportunity for folks to hear a really good speaker in Spanish.
I would appreciate that, Ken. We do have our channels in Spanish, and so we can definitely do that.
Great. 7 to 9 p.m.
All right, so that's what I had to say in terms of commercials. Is there any other final remark on your end, Adam? Am I missing anything? Anybody else from the group? All right. So I'll send a calendar invitation, and yes, I was just aware that my emails might come with an invitation uh, to join Teams, but that's not the preferable platform. We will like to keep it on WebEx, so I'll work on my Outlook. Uh, but yes, December 9th, it's again a Friday. I feel sorry for Ken because is that your day off, Ken? So, what else could you be done in a Friday than join this wonderful group, Ken? But
That's an urban myth. That's an urban myth that our staff and people don't work on Fridays.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and your presence. Thank you, JT, for your support. So JT, Dr. John Noble, is the liaison with the theology faculty here at Marian. So has been tremendously, helpful with make sure that we stay within the lines of the theology department here. Yeah, so thank you everyone. I could go on and on just to thank you everyone, especially Dr. Kurt Nelson. He is the chair of my doctoral capstone project, and he is such a holy man. I just thank you so much.
So someone's got to keep you on the straight and narrow, Oscar.
Thank you, Kurt. So I'll send everything that I promised and with the calendar invite for December 9th, the feast of Saint Juan Diego. All right. So
Thanks, Oscar.
yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Oscar.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.